It is vitally important that we broaden leadership from the men who have been our leaders alone and bring on board women, bring on board young voices.
When Africa is rid of corruption, then the continent can develop in a much better way than it is now.
I believe that now is the time for the African Renaissance. Now is the time to train the new leaders.
A new generation of African leaders will have to think differently about the continent. They have to think differently and come up with fresh ideas.
Leadership touches each and every part of our life. And for Africa, this is so crucial because development without leadership is meaningless.
Some of the problems we have is because of leadership. We need leadership with a vision.
We're having leaders that should be more accountable to the people, should be rendering selfless service. We're not getting much of that.
I haven't seen a lot of leaders that have championed the cause of their populations.
In 2010, the African Leadership Center will open in Nairobi, Kenya, to address the leadership vacuum faced by the continent.
The current crop of leaders don't even strive to look at a different way of thinking about our challenges and how to solve our problems.
The African Leadership Center aims to change this by opening its doors to these prospective young African leaders, giving them the opportunity to take part in programs previously only available at King's College London.
I think it's significant that we place a center like this on the continent so that it's living close to home. It's living close to the very people, the very institutions, and if you like, the very agendas that is seeking to change.
Young people from conflict and post-conflict countries are especially encouraged to apply to the ALC.
We tend to give attention to these countries because of their special needs and because of the lack of access of many young Africans in those particular environments. I think reaching out to those countries in particular also allows us to begin to bring back the talent to that environment and bring them together with the talents in other places that have been developing normally.
The ALC welcomes both men and women. It particularly encourages applications from women, and in its first year, all the successful candidates are female.
What we found is that there's a huge gap when you compare the knowledge base of men and women, but especially within Africa. And this center, amongst other things, wants to give African women a fighting chance to compete on equal footing with their male folk and to be able to discuss the issues of peace and security affecting them and their communities in the places that matter.
The center will be unique in its ability, not just to train, but to build a new community. A network of leaders who will generate an African-led vision of change.
Post-election violence, what role the KHRC has been able to play.
Our template must come from our own experience. Many of the ideas that shape our thinking should be homegrown.
So we brought up that.
We know where the shoe pinches, and we need to address those issues ourselves.
Discussions on transitions or countries.
I see the ALC as having a new generation of leaders really committed to their people and to development.
About the sexual violence. I see the ALC contributing to a better continent that has developed ways of resolving conflict without resorting to war. And I remember watching on TV a feature.
My vision for the future is to become one of the leading experts when it comes to security issues in Africa.
I see myself implementing new strategies, new policies around peace and security and development, specifically in the Southern African region.
I want to be a true reflection of the grassroots of women in making sure that policies and laws are shaped according to the true needs of women.
I want to leave my footsteps on the sands of time, as they've said. I want to see myself at the UN working on peace and security in the world, and not only in Africa.
I think an investment in the ALC will be an investment in the future of Africa. And that investment in the ALC should not be an investment by outsiders alone. It's important to us that Africans invest in the ALC so that the partners of Africa are able to support a process that people have themselves developed and have invested in.